Why is this book called Tough Love?
For so many reasons. It fit my whole story.
Yeah.
It's how my parents raised me.
Right.
It's how my husband and I have tried to raise our kids.
Yeah.
It's how I've tried to lead teams and serve our country.
Right.
When you love somebody, truly, you're willing to tell them the hard truths.
Yeah, but that can be hard. And, you know, people today don't want to hear the truth.
Really?
They want to hear, as you know. they want to hear their version of the truth. Right?
Yeah.
But you think it's important, regardless of the circumstance or situation, personal, professional, always tell the truth.
And tell the hard truth. Because, you know, as my parents were raising me,
yeah.
you know, if they saw me falling short or not doing my best or cutting corners or slacking off, they'd tell me.
They didn't let you get away with it.
And that was hugely valuable because they knew what I could do.
Right.
And, you know, when I'm having the extraordinary privilege of serving this country and representing us to the world, and I love this country fiercely. Yeah. But I also know we're not perfect.
You know that there are blemishes along with the beauty, right?
We've made some mistakes.
Right. Did you make, and you think you made mistakes when you were there, not only mistakes you've observed others make?
Of course.
Right. Well,
so I'm talking about historical mistakes, mistakes in the present, and we'll make mistakes in the future.
Right.
But the important thing is that we acknowledge them. And we learn from them, and hopefully not the wrong lessons.
Yeah. The people who pick up this book and think this is going to be a book about only foreign policy, international affairs, international relations, it really is, to your point about family, it's a book about family. And the part that I love is the part that I had absolutely no idea about, because all the years you were in public life, the visible part of the iceberg was you doing your national security advisor thing or your UN ambassador thing. But the part that we didn't see, the submerged part, was all this family stuff. And you have an amazing family story.
Well, thank you.
And your parents are such interesting and accomplished people and such role models. And clearly were important to you.
Hugely important.
Right?
I mean, first of all, I didn't want to write a boring foreign policy book, frankly. I mean, you know, we've done that.
Right.
And yet I wanted to make the policy pieces of it interesting and accessible.
Yeah.
But like every human being, I have a job.
You have
and
a story.
I have a life.
You have a life.
And I have a history. And I have a...
So your mom was the child of immigrants.
She was.
She came from Jamaica to the state of Maine.
Her parents. So my grandparents came from Jamaica with no education to Portland, Maine in 1912.
Right.
And you can imagine there weren't a whole lot of folks in Portland who looked like me.
Well, your mom, in fact, talked about being a poor colored girl from Portland, Maine.
How she thought of herself. Except then my grandparents come here, and like so many immigrants with ambition and hard work, they scraped and they saved and they sent all 5 of their kids to college.
To college, right. And then, at that
back
time,
then,
right.
In the 30s and 40s, and my mom, the youngest, went to college in 1950.
Remarkable.
And my 4 uncles, 2 of them were doctors, one an optometrist, one a university president, and then along comes my mother. All 4 of my uncles were sent to Bowdoin College in Maine, which is a small private
liberal
college.
arts college, right.
And my grandparents didn't know what to do with my mother because Bowdoin at that point didn't take women. And so they really were flummoxed. And then they heard about this place called Radcliffe College.
Right. Yeah, you know, it was no Bowdoin.
It was not Bowdoin.
But it was okay,
in my family, it was not Bowdoin. But and then it became part of Harvard.
Amazing. And then she goes on to be one of the people responsible for the development of the Pell Grant program.
Right.
So she ends up creating opportunity for the rest of us.
And she did that because she understood the value of education.
Incredible.
And she almost lost the opportunity herself to go to college. Her father had had a catastrophic accident. He was a janitor in a music store, and he fell down an elevator shaft and broke his back and broke his feet and was in the hospital for months and months. All their savings evaporated. And my mom was denied the Maine State Scholarship for Radcliffe because she was black. And they told her that you can't have the scholarship because the terms are that when you graduate, you're supposed to come back to Maine and move in the proper circles, that was the terminology, in order to raise money for Radcliffe. And since you're black, you can't move in the proper circles.
Right. Amazing.
So she was denied that, but her high school principal, where she was the valedictorian, and her debate coach, and she was a national champion debater, went directly to Radcliffe and appealed for help for her and got it.
And got it.
And so that enabled her to go to Radcliffe.
It's a great story.
And that's why she had that passion for education and for the Pell Grant program. So you know, I just got to say, 80 million Americans have gone to college because of the Pell
Grants. That's right.
And the Department of Education did not know that fact. when I was writing this book, and we kept bugging them along with Claiborne Pell's grandson.
Give us the number.
They knew how many grants they'd given, but not
Right.
how many people had benefited.